Good morning, y'all. It's Amber over here at Splittin' Tracks, and it's been a rough couple of weeks for me. I suffer from anxiety. I have dealt with it since I was a kid, done many different types of therapies, and for the most part, I've got a really good handle on it. It used to be really trigger based. I knew what would cause it and how to stay away from it and everything. As I got more into my 30s, it became more of a presence. Past couple of years I've been doing really good. The therapies and the tools that I use tend to keep everything at bay. It's honestly, the past couple of years have been the best I've ever dealt with. But, for some reason, the past couple of weeks, I've been, I call it always at a 1. When you have that scale of 1 to 10, 10 just being, in a debilitating state of anxiety. 1, it's just kind of a weight on my chest that doesn't seem to go away. Doesn't seem to be any triggers, but anyways, point being, it's been a few weeks and it's really frustrating. But one of the things that I've learned, one of my tools, is that projects really help me. Not cleaning the house, not doing anything that can be undone or that is like a normal everyday thing, but working on projects, the ones that are on the to-do list that, could probably wait if they needed to, but they're always there. Working on those projects, they're really good for me. They let me wake up with a goal, which is always really helpful. They let me go to bed having completed a goal and having finished something that is not going to be undone almost immediately. So today I've got a fun project. I'm gonna be cleaning up an area and then using the stuff that I cleaned up to make something fun for my garden. So why don't y'all come along with me and we're gonna make it into a good day. So I've been working really hard to get this area out here cleared. I took down the old fencing from when we had the goats out here. I've been moving the goat tractor everywhere. So there's all the brush cleaned up. I limbed up all the trees. Now I just need some dump runs for stuff like I don't know, I'm thinking maybe there was a garden out here at some point. I don't know, we dug up a whole bunch of hardware cloth. So that's easy, that'll go to the dump. But then over here we have this giant mess. These are stickers. And not like this kind that go on a water bottle and not like the kind that stick to your pants. These are a byproduct of milling. So when my dad was out here and we had to fall a whole bunch of sugar pine trees, which was heartbreaking, but they were dead thanks to the whole bark beetle issue that we had go around. So my dad brought down his Wood-Mizer sawmill and we sawed it all up and made this gorgeous fence that's here behind us. But some of the byproducts of milling are the mill ends, which y'all saw on the previous video, went on the chicken coop. And then stickers. Stickers, oh my gosh. They're actually really useful. They're just a pain in the butt when they're a mess like this and all fallen over. You use them to stack the lumber to dry it. You go between each layer of boards. And they're just basically, they're just little 1x1 pieces of wood. Honestly, I've seen them for sale at Lowe's for ridiculous prices. So we're really fortunate to have them. It's not something that'll get burnt or go to the dump. At the very least, they're good kindling for people who burn. We don't use a wood stove, but for those that do, it'd make good kindling. I'm going to use them today to make tomato cage type thingies for my garden. So first step is we got to get them all cleaned up. I'm going to bring the truck over and load them all up. At the very least, we're going to make it a better pile because This just looks an absolute mess and is an eyesore, and is gonna make a really good project for me today. I'm gonna be able to look back and see the before, and at the end we'll come back and see the after. So I'm gonna go get the truck. I'm gonna bring it on over here, and first step is gonna be loading all this up and getting the mess cleaned up. Oh my goodness, who do we have here?
Cuddles.
Who is Cuddles? Wait, Cuddles is running away. Come back, Cuddles.
She's my bunny.
She's your bunny.
I got her for Christmas.
Hello, Cuddles.
She sheds more than Ollie.
Do you remember what kind of bunny she is?
Mini Rex.
Oh, hello, hello. Excuse me. What are you doing? Oh, you can't run away. What's your favorite thing about Cuddles?
That she'll fall asleep in my lap.
Aw, does she?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you have fun with Cuddles. I've got to get back to work. I knew it was a lizard and it still made me scream. Step one complete. Got everything loaded, all of the messes cleaned up off the ground. A lot of them were decomposed a lot on the bottom, so I'm not going to be able to use those, but there was quite a bit of usable stickers that are left that are going to work really well for my garden project. So time to get these back up to the wood shop and get going on my project. You know, when I started loading them, I had this thought that I would, you know, put on one side the ones that were really good that I was going to use, and then on the other side of the truck I'd put the ones that were, you know, only good for kindling that we were going to offer to my neighbor. The method broke down almost instantly. It's so mixed up, but I managed to pull out a little pile that is going to get me through my project today, and then I'll stash a little pile out back near our wood surplus storage, whatever, for future projects. But on to today's project. So my plan is show you with some shorter ones. I don't use tomato cages in my garden. They're tiny. Honestly, can y'all explain to me who uses tomato cages? Because most of my tomatoes end up like 5-6 feet tall, and these tomato cages, they're like wee tiny. I don't know what they're good for. Had some here on the property when we moved in, so I use them for my little pepper plants. It helps them stay up pretty good. But I'm out of them, and they get so bendy, and like I said, I needed a project. So I had seen an Instagrammer who took and made this really cool like pyramid-y pea thing. I've done that before, but it just kind of reminded me, hey, I have a stack of stickers out there that I could do a project with. So I'm gonna take these guys and I'm gonna cut them into short and just kind of make square tomato cage-ish things. My eggplant is, my eggplant is getting so big that it's falling over. I've got a couple more pepper plants that need stuff. I also want to try, I always have read that you're supposed to stake your zucchini and clean the leaves as the plant grows. I want to try putting them in a cage, so that way it keeps the leaves up. Incubator. I heard beeping. I thought I was losing my mind. It's the incubator turning the eggs. Anyways, I think there's going to be quite a few uses for these, and they're going to be sturdy enough that I can just stand them up over the plants. And, you know, the cost is going to be free, since I actually, you know what, girl math, I say that it is $- because it cleaned up a mess out in the front yard. So let's get going and build me some tomato, eggplant, zucchini cages. Had to pause real quick. I realized that I needed to move the goat tractor. And while I'm out here moving the goats, y'all, I gotta fill you in on the silliest story. What are you doing, goatie? Do we not like that bush? Is that what's going on here? Really? We're that picky? So, funny story. Back in November, Adrian decided that he was going to AI his goats. He has Nubians, they're registered, really good milking goats. And we have figured out through the past few years that it's just easier to AI. We don't want to own a buck. They smell nasty. We don't have a big enough property to have them far away. We tried the parking lot date where you take the goats to the buck. It was a pain in the butt and honestly more expensive. So we are really fortunate that through 4-H we made friends with this incredible woman who has helped Adrian, nurtured him through his goats and everything. And she's actually just ingenious. She has basically pioneered AIing goats. AI is artificial insemination. So really proud of my son for handling this. It's not necessarily, you know, you gotta get in and get your hands a little dirty. But we've done it for a couple of years now, and it's been great. So back in November, we decided to AI. We AI'd both Jewel and Cleo. Waited a month, did an ultrasound. Neither couldn't find anything, went ahead and did a blood test. Neither of them were pregnant. At that point, we had kind of figured out, battery's dying on my headphone. We had kind of figured out that Jewel she wasn't really up to having babies again. You know, she was looking fairly thin. She's definitely getting on in age. And so we decided not to do another round with her, but we did go ahead and re-AI Cleo. So I had it in my head she was due in July. Due in July. This was what I had thought. Of course, it's all in my calendar, but I thought July. So come about, I'm gonna say end of April, she was looking really fat. And it was like, oh my gosh, no. And I pulled up on the calendar. When did we AI? November. She's due 2 days ago. Oh my gosh, she's super pregnant. We're gonna have babies here soon. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, maybe I thought that we were gonna sell the babies in July. Anyways, I talked myself into believing that I was wrong and that she was due at the end of April, and we got all excited. Then nothing happened. No baby, no udder. She was still a little bit big, but there was no baby. So month went on. Y'all know we went ahead and decided to get rid of Chip. We decided to get rid of baby Saffron. We were winding down the goat project. You know, my son was really done. And the fact that neither of them had babies this year was just kind of a good sign that we were done. Oh, y'all, I am not kidding. It was the day after we got rid of baby goat, and I was so excited. The goat project was done. It was streamlined. Everything was going to be okay. And Adrian comes in about 9 o'clock at night, and he goes, yeah, we were wrong. I said, what? He said, the dates were wrong. He goes, when we AI'd in November, I had my aunt help me with the process. That was the first AIing. That was the one that would have been due in April. He goes, we AI'd in February. He had noticed that Cleo's udder was engorging. And yeah, you know what? He was right. I pulled it up on my calendar. We had done the second round of AI in February, and y'all, she is due on July 3rd. Her udders are filling up. She is massive. She's not waddling yet, so I hadn't even noticed, but Adrian's really, really good at paying attention to his goats and noticing any changes. So, hair is driving me nuts. So anyways, so Adrian is always out here every day, hands-on, looking at his goats, and he can really tell when something's up. And y'all, he noticed the udder was getting bigger. And so we may have 4th of July baby goats. Surprise! So my favorite kind of project is this kind. There is 0 measuring tapes, 0 sanding, 0 leveling. None of it matters. They don't even have to be the same length. I just guesstimate how tall I want. I cut the ends at a 45 just to give it a little bit of meat when I pound it down into the ground. And then I'm gonna use my air nailer, brad nailer. Honestly, I call it a patink patink because that's the sound that it makes when it shoots the itty bitty nail. To show you, I'm sure you all know what it looks like. But these little things totally changed my woodworking projects. Before I found these, it was all screws, and I hate pre-drilling, which means that I split the wood. And most of the time I worked with pallets, which means it's just really thin, tiny wood. Like, I mean, look at this. Old, thin, tiny. Then I found this thing, and it's basically like a big nail gun, but it does the itty bitty tiny brad nails, which have 0 strength to them. But for the little projects that I need, it works perfect. It even just works if you need it to hold it together while the wood glue dries. So my little patink patink works perfect for these projects. Ta-da! Let's go put it in the garden. So far my garden looks really great, but the only thing it's produced has been eggplant. And that was actually pretty yummy. Look, I got another one right here. Almost ready to pick. And gonna get some neat little gourds and pumpkins out of that. But as you can see, here's where I kind of put the tomato cage around the pepper plants. It just gives them a little bit of extra support. I just had 2. And I've got one more pepper plant right here, and then an eggplant that will eventually need a little support. But this guy over here has just been really unhappy. Look at compared, planted at the same time. I don't know what happened. It fell over one day, which I'm sure messed with the roots. So I had this little stake on there, but I want to go ahead and try and put this cage around it and see if I can get it some more support. Okay, today's been a success. I was able to get out there and clean up the yard. Really happy with how that turned out. It's been, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to say, I think we milled that lumber 10 years ago. Ish, it's been a long time. So really happy to have that cleaned up. I was able to get some great stickers for projects, and the rest we're gonna take down to our neighbor who does burn firewood. It's gonna make some great free kindling for them, so double win. Liking how the little trellis stand, tomato cage, whatever it is, worked out. Definitely gonna make some more of those. I've got a bunch of the wood cut. Ran out of my little patink nails, so I'm gonna have to pick some of those up. And honestly, I don't think I could have worked outside much longer anyways. We are in the triple digits for like 10 days straight, and the difference between the sun and shade here is just ridiculous, and the sun totally came and chased me away. So happy with that. Gonna make some more later. And I got to fill you guys in on our surprise pregnant goat. Not really a surprise. I shouldn't have questioned myself, I guess, or I should have triple checked my dates. I don't know, but we will see here in a couple of days if we have surprise baby goats. So you guys got to make sure to subscribe. That way the video will just pop up on your feed. I don't post too many big videos, so I promise it won't be irritating, and it helps out the channel a lot. So if you guys will subscribe and check back in, the next video may have just some absolute ridiculous long-eared cuteness. For now, y'all stay inside, stay cool, and we'll see you next time.